Hello ladies and gentlemen, Lord Right here, and welcome back to another episode of Single Survival. Now, the problem I've got right now, as you can see, we've got our lander here, we've landed on a planet, and the problem I've got is that this is not the server I want to be on. And the reason I say that is because there are two servers called Outer Planetary Alliance, and I can't seem to get onto the one I want. So we've got the second one, and on this second one it has no mods, which means there is no speed mod on this. It's okay, but the problem being is that unfortunately I've literally starting almost from scratch again. So I'll show you a quick look around, show you what's happening. We'll just have to make some very fast progress, and hopefully things will put us forward as quickly as possible. So what have we got here, and why have I done what I've done? So as you can see, this is the lander. Let me just come up onto the jetpack here, and as you can see, I've put a single internal turret on top. Now you may be asking, why have I done that? Well, if you're on a server, especially a multiplayer server, one of the big things is you know yourself is somebody could come along once you're away, and the next thing you know, you try to get back into the game only to find that your medbay has been destroyed, and that everything you've done, built or whatever, has been taken. I learnt that on a very bitter lesson when I built a ship, went to the moon, tried to get back into it, and came back and discovered that everything had gone. Somebody very nicely had come along, a group of lads, and literally ground down everything. It was my own fault. I forgot to put any turrets on the ship itself, especially when I was on the moon, and that was it. So maybe a bit childish, but I spawned in a new ship, and I basically found their base and rammed it straight into it. I was that annoyed. I mean, there was enough space for everybody. They didn't have to do what they did, but they chose to do it, and so yes, maybe like a little child, I chose to ram a new ship straight into their base, destroying it completely. What I didn't destroy, I ground down. So yeah, defense. First and foremost, make sure you have sun turrets available. Now, obviously, when you first land, you have no ores or anything else like that. So, the best turret to put up is one of these. And the reason why I say that is because obviously you can put your normal ammunition in the turret, and it will help to protect you. Now, besides that, what I've also done is, if we come down here, as you can see, I've taken the legs out, and again I used a merge block, and again what I've done is basically removed anything on the outside that could be of use to anybody other than the solar panels there. And again, another turret on the bottom that stops them from digging underneath and coming at you that way. And the reason again is it's been done to help protect you. Now obviously once you start putting things into the ground, that's it, you're fixed. Now what we've done inside, well, what we've done inside is a third turret. Now you may be asking, why put a third turret? Well, the simple thing is, if they defeat the turrets above and they defeat the turrets below, and they do make it in, you want the third surprise, which is the third turret there. Now what that does, it protects your med bay, and it also, very quickly, I put a cryo tube in, and it protects your cryo tube. So if they do manage to get up underneath, they manage to drill up, you've got some sort of protection against anything they may or may not do to you. So that's the general gist of what we've got here. Now, what progress have I made on this since we started? Well, not a great deal. So obviously it's going to be a case of, this is going to have to be very, very quick. The only thing I did do is I went out and I got some uranium, and as you can see, I've charged the reactor up. I put a small reactor in. At the small reactor that's in, I charged it up, I went out, I got, the first thing you should always do is go and get uranium. For the simple reason being, it doesn't matter what you do, uranium's going to be the most important thing. Now obviously on a planet, uranium is available. I'll show you how I managed to do that. We just go into here, we do go into K. As you can see, we've got battery powers that are fully available, so we're not going to be worrying about that. And our reactor, again, because we got, again, with the solar panels up there banging out some power like that, you know, we're not using much. So you don't use much. Set your base up so that you don't use a lot of it when you're away. Now, as you could also see, some servers require that you have beacons on. If not, they will delete your base off. So make sure that if you are playing on a multiplayer server, make sure you follow whatever rules they set down. So in this case, if they set down the rule that there should be a beacon, you have a beacon here on this ship. I simply removed it from the top and brought it in, and again that's simply to protect it. Again, that stops anybody from getting up there, grinding your beacon off, and then simply waiting for an update or whatever, a reset where it just gets deleted off. So believe it or not, unfortunately there are some people out there, and I would describe them as childish. They will do that. They'll grind away things just simply to destroy your bases, not so much as to get the parts, but simply to remove you from the area, which is not a nice thing to do, but there you go. Right, so there you go, we've got our beacon there, our med bay there, our cryotube there, and if we go over to here, as you can see, I landed very, very close to where there is some uranium down here, and again, it was a couple of trips, very, very quickly. I came down and we did this. So there you are. So we're down below, and we got uranium very, very quickly. Now don't worry if you grab stone as well, for the simple reason being, don't forget you're going to need the stone when you start to want to manufacture the reactor components. So if you're going to need reactor components, you're going to need stone as well. But one of the things you should always do is always keep a good supply of uranium around, and obviously some stone, and that will do one of several things. It will provide you with power, and it will also provide you obviously with what you need for when you want to have to do your reactor components and stuff like that for later on. So I don't mind. The first couple of trips I do get only uranium. That's the first couple of trips. I always try and make sure that no matter what I do, I'm only getting the uranium that I need. I try to avoid getting any rock, for the simple reason being that as you can see, you're going to drill out a lot of rock no matter what. Look at this. This is something that I noticed on the thing. How easy they don't roll, they slide. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It just seems that we've gone from having proper rolling rocks to having sliding rocks. I think this has got to do, to truth be told, with the mag boots. I think that the mag boots, I mean look at this, that rock was not rolling, it was just sliding everywhere. I think this has got to do a lot with the mag boots, and I think they need to rebalance that, for the obvious reason being that it's causing problems. One of the joys, and this, believe it or not, is in not just in multiplayer, but it's also in single player as well. The rocks don't roll, they slide. We've got sliding rocks, not rolling rocks, which is always good. So again, as you can see, what I'm going to do, like I said, I will try and get into the other server because I've got a couple of little ships that I've built that I wanted to show you today. I may end up having to go to another. See, that's the other problem, is it pushes you away. Right, now I've got 1.6 of stone, so we're just going to dump the stone there for now, as you can see. And look at this, sliding all over the place. Sliding all over the place. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. One of the other things I noticed is how easy you can die in this. Now, from you have to be careful with your own tools, because look at that. Now, obviously they got to clean up on there. Again, it's something you have to be careful of, because look at this. I'm just being pushed all over the bloody place. There we are. We should be full with that, yep. So just be aware of that. Right, so let's get the hole out of here. Well, we can find our exit point. There we are. It's right above us. That was nice. So like I said, one of the big things, as you can see, I do my usual trick, put uranium or whatever it is, put E for entrance, and that literally will just protect you, or aid you rather, to define where everything is. Right, so what I'm going to do, we'll just pop that in there, is I'm going to pause this recording, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some iron, some cobalt, some nickel, and all the other bits and pieces, and we're going to build ourselves a miner. I've got a particular type of miner in mind, which will allow you, it's a small grid miner, but it will allow you to do to mine pretty well. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to build this miner, and then once I've done that, I will come back, and from there we'll start mining. We'll build a couple of refineries very quickly, some assemblers. We'll put probably our base. The other thing I would tell you to do is think about putting your base underground. Now, be aware, be careful when you do things like that, because one of the big things is that some of the servers will, unfortunately, some of the servers, I had one in particular where they basically said if you put anything underground it will be deleted off, and they did, and it got deleted off, and believe you me, it was a pain in the butt, because you couldn't build an underground base to protect yourself in case anything happened. Now, one of the other things I would recommend that you do, besides doing that, and I haven't done it on this one yet, but I'm going to right now, is get right underneath your base, and then simply go G, sorry, not G, K, go to your GPS, new from current position, and as you can see, I've got that there, and in bold letters, just change it, put either home base or whatever you want to call it. And I do that because in the event that you ever go out of range for the beacon or antenna that you got off. Now, I've got my beacon, I think, set very low, at a very low level. If I just go in the let's go into control panel, was our beacon home base? I've got it, yeah, as you can see, I've got my beacon set for just 500. Now, the reason I have it, because yes, if I have to have a beacon on my home base to prevent it from being deleted, that's, I don't want everybody knowing about it, so I've set mine for 500. But that means that when I go further than 500 meters away, I won't know where my base is. So by putting that GPS marker down and putting that there, you'll always, doesn't matter how far you travel, you should be able to always find your way home. So there you go, folks. Right, I'm going to stop the recording here, and hopefully you'll join me when we've got our little well, first thing I'm going to do is put a little scout together, and then we're going to put a little miner together. So I shall speak to you soon. Bye.